Stay tuned for today's Antidote, brought to you by the Renegade Success Network. Today's Antidote features a healthy dose of thought-provoking insights and information for business owners, entrepreneurs, leaders, and nonprofit professionals. Each day since March of 2020, this program has offered that one thing to help you continue on your own unique pathway to success. And now, Renegades, we bring you Bob Graham and Tom Brush.
Wednesday, hump day.
Any special day? Is today a special day or just another day?
Look, I did.
Besides my daughter's birthday. My daughter's 25th.
That's all we need. This is the daughter who's the singer, right?
No, this is the daughter who's the technical theater horse person.
Technical theater horse person. Okay, sorry, got them confused. Daughter who's the technical theater horse person, happy birthday to you today.
Yes, happy birthday, Chloe.
There you go, Chloe. I could not remember her name.
That's okay.
So,
right. You know, it goes. So how are you doing this morning, Robert?
I am okay. I was out early today watering all kinds of plants.
Oh, Lordy.
Here we go. And it looks like I'm going to be doing this alone for a little while. So I will do. Oh, you're back.
Heavens.
Now you're gone again. Oh, Tom. Good times. So, folks, I'm going to just proceed while Tom grunts and shows his displeasure, which will be fun. So you can listen to that in the background while I talk about our topic for the week, which is celebration. Now, you may say, why are we celebrating? What's there to celebrate? We're into the doldrums. Your kids are getting to the end of school. You're worried about what you're going to do with them all summer. You're worried about vacation. Work's kind of a drag. You had to come back after the holiday, all those things. But here's the thing about it. You want to celebrate. Celebrate the little things. Celebrate the big things. When we celebrate things, it changes our mood. It makes us much more positive, much more engaged, and it helps us to be better able to handle what's coming down the road. And celebration also ties to gratitude. And as we think about gratitude, being grateful, they're all things that we can be grateful for every single day. Just the ability to have this time together, I'm grateful for. Just the ability for Tom to maybe join us and be on here. And now we're flipped. This is going to throw people. They're going to think the coup has come. So
I'm sure they know it's already happened.
So, Tom, I was framing this whole summer of celebration and why we need to celebrate. But then the question becomes, and that's our question today, can there be too much celebration? Can we go over? Can we take it too far? What are your thoughts on that?
I think the answer is yes. I think if it causes you overwhelm. You get overwhelmed with celebrating and causes inaction. I think that's the point. When you get too comfortable, feeling like, okay, everything has gone perfect, and there's nothing to worry about. We just keep celebrating and remembering all of those great past things and forget that we had those successes because we took action. And I think it's that continual action that is what keeps us learning and growing and understanding what is real for us, and then figuring out how to take whatever the next step is. So I do believe that at some point you can. I think if you get stuck on one thing too long, celebrating that, you can. I think when you're constantly celebrating something different, then you're learning from, okay, why was that a celebration? How does that help me move forward? And so I think that as long as you're not too focused on one certain thing and think that that's the panacea to whatever issues you have. How about that?
Whoa. Tom Brush throwing down.
I think people are starting to think that I don't know any big words. So I thought I'd throw one in there.
I thought that word today toilet paper I sent you was going to be big.
It's been very helpful. I appreciate that. Thanks. But yeah, I think that at some point you ultimately can go too far celebrating it, and it just leads you back to where you might have been at the beginning, because I think you just feel like you're overwhelmed with success, or you're just feeling like you've got all the answers, and you've stopped learning and growing and taking action.
I want to take it in a different direction. And that is when we celebrate at the expense of other people. I used to deal with someone when I had my marketing company, and he and I competed on a couple of projects. And I was always, when he got it and I didn't, I'd be like, oh, that's great. Congratulations. And we knew we were bidding for the same projects. When he won it, he would call me and just be, oh, I totally beat you. You're no good. And it wasn't productive. It was really demeaning. And it was, it just left a bitter taste in my mouth, and it made me frustrated more than I believe there's enough business for all of us. I truly do. Mm-hmm. And from that attitude of abundance, I can celebrate anyone who has success. If someone took one of my coaching clients, and one of my coaching clients said, hey, I'd rather go with this person, I'd be like, okay, that makes sense. Sure. And if I ran into that person who was the coach, I'd say, hey, you're getting a really great client. Congratulations. I hope you guys have as much success as I've had. And I'd move on. I wouldn't be like, you took my client. And I think sometimes there's a time and place for celebration, but I also think publicly celebrating success at someone else's expense can be damaging. And to me, that's when it goes too far. That's when it's hurtful. Or to use our renegade language, that's when it's reckless, right? And that's the area that when I think of going too far, or just celebrating it like, oh, I got this big contract last week. Oh, I got this big contract last week. Oh, I got this big, and everyone and anyone, that's all you talk about.
Right. Yeah, I think when you're doing it for your own personal gain rather than as a just celebration. And I think you're right. I think sometimes people celebrate at others' failure. Not even as much about their success as that they enjoy seeing someone else fail. And at that point, I think it stops going from celebration to really there's some point of jealousy and I don't know,
and pettiness, right?
Yeah, that's probably a really good word for it. Pettiness.
And I think that will come back to bite us.
Sure.
The person who's demonstrating that, I think that's part of what worries me about this as we talk about celebration. I also think there are things that you can celebrate that are, I don't want to say the right things, but better things to celebrate. Achieve. Well, I know that's the hard thing, but I don't know that, I don't know where the line is drawn. But I do believe you can go too far. I think you can carry it to a place that it becomes reckless or detrimental in a lot of ways. It could be if you're constantly telling people, hey, I generated $5,000 yesterday. I generated $18,000 the day before. I've already generated $253,000 for the month of June, and we're only 2 days in. I'm on track to make $4 million this year. And saying that to some people would say, hey, that's fine. That's great. Because, oh, wow. Other people would be like, really? I don't, that's not it. So when I think of celebration, it's celebrating more of the personal growth, the personal ability to do things that you couldn't do. Someone pointed out to me something, I was talking to someone and she said to me, she's like, I can't believe I just heard that sentence come out of your mouth. I was like, what did I say? And she said it back to me. And I said, oh, wow. And she said, can you imagine saying that sentence 5 years ago or 10 years ago when I met you? And I was like, no. And she said, wow, that is really growth. That to me is what is the best thing to celebrate is when we grow. And of
course.
And if I'm talking about my growth when I'm celebrating, then that's not going to cause anyone else harm along the way, because most people are going to say, wow, that's real growth for you, Bob. It's not, hey, I made $4 million yesterday, and that means all of you can't make that money.
Well, and does it depend on the community that you're in or the audience that you're sharing it with? I think that has a lot to play with it as well. You know, there's some communities where if you were sharing, hey, I just landed $5,000, and then 2 days later you got, hey, I got another client at 19,000. That celebration within that community could be very accepted and could be celebrated by everyone, because that's what the community's goal is, the audience goal is. You know, and I think that's a big part of it, is who are we sharing with it and what's the value that it adds to us and to the people we share it with. You know, it's interesting. I think that people don't share because they don't want to feel like they're bragging. They don't want to celebrate that because they feel like it's bragging. It's too much about them. And one of the things that I think about that is what we're sharing could light a spark for somebody else. And if it is a gift that we've received, whether it's a skill set we have, something we've accomplished, something we noticed, that puts value out there. And if one person benefits from that, isn't that worth it? And if you never share that and that person doesn't get the chance to benefit from it, you could argue that you're being selfish with the gifts that you have received. And that's a big thing. Bob Berg talks about that in his book, The Go-Giver, is that part of the benefit of giving and sharing, whatever that might be, is that others benefit. And I guess it's not necessarily up to us to judge who could benefit from this, because what someone might benefit is really theirs to decide. It's what's real for them. And I think that so often we stop sharing our celebrations because we worry about, you know, being about bragging, about being it too much about us, when in reality, or in possibility, is we're being selfish by not sharing that because someone else may benefit from it.
That blows my mind to think through that, but I think you may be right. I'm going to take a break here and work in some comments. We've got a lot of comments coming in today. First of all, Tim says that it is Global Running Day. So there you have it, Tom. Tim coming in with the Global Running Day. So if you're running around the globe, this is your day.
I did it yesterday. Last night.
So sorry. Tim also says, so many wonderful things happening in my life right now. I'm happy to be part of the summer of celebration. Love that hashtag. John points out the obvious. Tom's on the wrong side. Can't throw it past Tim. Tim also said, celebrating someone else's failure is more than petty. It's straight up envy, and that is not the way to joy. John says, I don't feel bad for celebrating my success, how large or how small. If I or you made a mill, I'm surprised it says if. I thought it would say when. If I or you made millions, you should be able to celebrate from the rooftops. And there is a certain element of that, but that, to me, Tom, goes back to what you said. With the right people, I would be shouting from the rooftops. With other people, I would not be at all. They might not even know.
Well, and then are you prejudging what they value?
This is where I'm trying to sort this out this morning. And then John said, if people encouraged adults like they encourage babies to walk, imagine how different life would be. I like that.
And celebrate it, right? How much of a fuss do we make over a baby taking a step and then falling?
Yeah.
Or scooting along the ground on their bottom? Like all of those little tiny steps they take, people celebrate it like they just won $1 million. And, you know, I think John has a point, is that if we celebrated those things rather than being worried that we are going to, you know, somebody's going to be upset because we're celebrating it, maybe things would be different.
And John also says, if you're ridiculed about your successes, you need to run away from those people. Don't walk, run. And because it's Global Running Day, I love how those two things tied together. And I think he's right. You know, the right people would celebrate your success. You know, I think you do a really good job with me of pointing out my successes in ways that I don't. We were talking about something last week and you were like, you know, just the opportunity that you have is a success. Like, oh, I forgot about that. I think we tend to forget some of those things that we have in front of us because they become commonplace, or we're just so busy moving to the next thing that we're not in the thing right now.
Right.
Tim says, sorry.
That's okay.
Tim quoted you. What we're sharing could be a spark for somebody else. I like that. And then Tim also gives you props for, can I say props? I don't know if I'm contractually.
Would you not be allowed to say props?
It just sounds very young. And it just sounds like something one of my nieces or nephews would say. Hey, Uncle Bob, props for that. I'm hip. That's me, Mr.
Although,
Hip.
Props is probably about.
Look, I got my shirt with my Ralph Lauren thing. I think it is, or polo. Maybe it's polo. I don't even remember.
Like 10 years behind.
Hey, it was on sale.
That's okay. I'm not blaming you, but just saying.
And then John adds, you shouldn't associate with those people. And I think he means those people that don't want to celebrate your success. And I would agree with that. And at various times in my life, I've been around people that don't want to celebrate my success. And that's been difficult at times to enjoy the fruits of my labors, the hard work, and to also, I think one of the things about celebration, as I just think about, when we're able to celebrate with other people, it encourages us to take the next step.
Of course. What would happen if parents didn't pay attention to a baby trying to figure out how to walk? Would they ever learn how to walk? If they weren't so happy that you stood up,
yeah,
that allows you to say, okay, I could stand up. Then the baby's processing, right. However they do that. Okay, well, maybe I'll move because I want to get over there. And if the parents were like, well, don't do that. You might get hurt. Stop. No, don't do that. How much initiative are they going to have? And I think it's the same with us, is that if we're around people who are slowing us down or discouraging us from taking that next step, I think we really have to consider whether those people are there to support us and see us grow, or they are there to slow us down and hold us back.
And think also about the parent. You have that time where you're holding the kid's arms up real high and you're breaking your back to do it so that they can get used to the motion, just moving the legs in the right way. And then as they do that, you're helping them to walk. They don't know that they're walking. They just think they're doing something new and fun. And then one day they just come forth with walking. And then before long, they're running. And before long, you're putting up all kinds of barriers to prevent them from going too far. But you're right. It is a huge celebration within families. I mean, I've seen video in the last 10 years of every single niece and nephew and their kids when they walk. It's like, oh, here's a video. Look, they're walking for the first time.
Right. And if they weren't doing that, sharing that, and I'm sure the kids hear their parents being very proud of what their children accomplished. And I think that reinforces them to continuing to do things so that they will be celebrated.
Yep. And then it's talking, and then it's being able to read, and on and on. And I think we do it really well with children, but as adults, we don't do it really well. It's not like anyone's going to say, hey, Bob, you did a really good job with that client today. That was really awesome, which in some cases is a lot like walking. They're doing it for the first time.
Absolutely.
And it could be argued that some of the things we do in our business lives are as complicated as figuring out how to walk.
No, there's no doubt about that. I mean, again, for many people, if you've never done it, it's extremely difficult. And so even taking that first step to move forward and try is something to be celebrated, because again, if you have never done it, you have no knowledge or experience or perspective on it. And so just like the baby trying to they don't know, they're just trying to figure out how do I get to where I want to go? Same thing in your business. And so I think to me, that's one of the reasons why the summer of celebration, I think, is so important, is I think that we need to get in that habit of celebrating our successes, so that we will be in a positive mindset to then continue to move forward and figure out what's the next step. And even if the next step doesn't go as planned, we can celebrate the action that we took, which will hopefully help us take the next action. and ultimately get to where we want to go.
I think there's a step before celebrating them, which is recognizing our successes. You know, I know for me, that's one of the things I've been doing in the last week. It's like, oh, wow, that really is some gift that I have. You know, I had a client yesterday who did some really, really difficult work over the week since last time I talked to him. And it was just amazing. I mean, he came, you know how it is sometimes when you're coaching and it's just like, whoa, the light bulb goes off for the person. And you're just like, you just want to step back and like, go, share your wisdom with yourself. Well, I had one of those yesterday. I was like, how great is it? And I said to him, yeah, this is great. This is awesome work. You really figured out so much. And he's like, I couldn't have done it without you. That question you asked me 2 weeks ago, and then the question last week. And I was like, I remember asking the question, but that's doing my job. That wasn't any big deal. And I was like, wow, I'm celebrating today. I will celebrate that I can find the right question to ask the people to help anyone hopefully improve their life. You know, that'll be my celebration today. And that's something I take for granted all the time.
Absolutely. All right,
so
Bob.
Tom, you're on that side, so you get to ask me what my one thing is. There you go.
It's like opposite day. So, Bob, what's your one thing about celebration, and can it go too far?
I think when you're celebrating your own progress, that's appropriate. When you're celebrating it at the expense of others, that's when it goes too far. And I think there's a fine line there. But when we celebrate, hey, I figured out how to do something that I've never done before, that's great. But when it's, I won the big contract and here are the 3 companies who did, ha, 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 ha. That's like that?
Sure.
So that's the difference, right?
Yeah. Sure, absolutely. I think I'm going to go back to, I think when it leads to inaction. I like yours a lot because I think it's true. I think we can celebrate at the expense of others or others' failures. And I definitely do not approve of that. And I also think that we can celebrate our own successes too much, and that it leads to inaction. So if the baby got all excited because they could stand, it was like, I can stand. Why do I need to do anything else? I landed one client. They're all just going to show up, and I'm celebrating that one client. And I stop thinking about how do I find the next, and how do I make sure I serve this client, and how do I make sure that I'm continuing to move forward. Then I think we have taken celebration too long and too far. And because it has caused us to stop moving forward, to stop taking action. And I think anything that gets in our way, just like overwhelm, frustration, fear, it's not beneficial, and it has gone too far.
Nice. I like that. All right, Tom, watch. I'm going to do your part since I'm over here. So, folks, we've had a lot of great comments today. Really appreciate them. Thank you, Tim and John, for all your great insights. And if you would like to share your one thing, that thing that you took from this discussion or something that sparked, we'd love to see it in the comments. Not only will it help you, and there's all kinds of research that says that when you put a comment out, when you put it into words and actually form the sentence and put it on a page, not only does it help you, but there might be that person, like Tom said, who needs that spark. So throw your comment in there in the Ring of Renegades Facebook group. And by all means, if you haven't joined that group, hey, you know what? What are you waiting for? Come on, people. You're killing me. Get there, wouldn't you? We've only talked about this for like 330 days over the last 375 days. We would love to have you join that group. Now, it's a private membership group. As Tom likes to say, we're going to ask you a question. Why are you a renegade? Let me let you in on a real simple secret. You don't have to have the most creative answer to get into the group. We're pretty liberal there. So if that question flummoxes you, just put, I know, another big word, I'm a renegade, damn it, and then we'll be fine. But really, join that group. You're going to be around a whole bunch of like-minded people, people who are trying to carve their own unique pathway to success. They're in all kinds of industries. They're in all kinds of life situations. And you're going to really benefit from being around them. I can't tell you how much it inspires and encourages me every single day. So Tom, with that, this has been great. We will see everyone again tomorrow at 8 a.m. Eastern time for the next edition of Today's Antidote. Here's something Tom's going to play for you because I don't know which thing he's going to play. It's either going to be about the Ring of Renegades Facebook group, but I'm going to bet it's about the Renegade Success Network.
Very good. Here you go. Here's some information about our Renegade Success Network and the value it might provide. Are you struggling to make your vision a reality? Are you stuck and don't know what to do next? Are fear and doubt holding you back? The Renegade Success Network will help you determine the next steps on your pathway. Here is some of what you will get. Create your pathway call to start you on a better path. Unlimited laser solution sessions to keep you from getting stuck. Nurture your network events to build your network with other successful leaders. Monthly Renegade challenges to prepare you for what lies ahead. The Renegade Success Vault, giving you access to videos, tools, and tips on specific topics anytime you need them. And the Renegade Success Network community, an exclusive Facebook group of like-minded renegades, all working towards achieving their goals. You have a choice. Do it yourself and fumble forward slowly and alone. Or join the Renegade Success Network and be part of a community built to help you find your own pathway. Join today at renegadesuccessnetwork.com. Act now and jumpstart your journey on your own pathway to success.